If you're brand new to SharePoint and you're thinking about, how do I configure it? You're thinking I'm going to download it, I'm going to give it a try for 30 days. A lot of the first things people ask is, how should I configure the home screen? How should I make it work? And I think the thing is, you have to say, well, what do you want to achieve from SharePoint? SharePoint is a very, very big platform, and it depends what you want to achieve for it. For example, if you wanted to use it as mainly as a sort of a news site and a broadcasting site, sort of internal communications tool, then you might configure it with quite a lot of news and quite a lot of team news and blog posts from various people coming up on the homepage to guide people to the content. However, if specifically you wanted various projects to just collaborate on the solution, then what you might want to do is clearly identify with navigational areas what those project sites are. And really you've got to think about the home page and the navigation of SharePoint really being a window to all the content below. One of the most successful home screen designs that we've come up with, and has been used for many of our clients, is really thinking about what you're using SharePoint for. People are typically using SharePoint to be more productive in their workplace, and actually what people want is everything that's relevant to me. So SharePoint has lots of personalization features and audience targeting features. So what that means is you can clearly see on the home screen of SharePoint, if you configure it, an activity feed, and you can see what all your colleagues are doing. So for example, you can see that your colleagues have just finished working on a document, they've uploaded and they've saved it. You can see that your boss might have just written a blog post and you can see that published or have a link to it. So this activity feed makes SharePoint feel like a very homely place where there's familiar faces popping up and all the content is targeted at you. It's specific to what you do for your job, and it helps you do your job better. So this is the sort of home user interface that Content and Code typically designs for its customers. Typically, when we work with clients have a sort of often like a corporate homepage, and typically they want it to be quite news focused and sort of blogs and information push. And what we always try and encourage them to do is have about half of the screen real estate dedicated to sort of the corporate sort of style page and the push page, and then about half of the page focused to what the user wants, because individual users will get bored of a news story once they've read it. Most companies aren't like the BBC, where they have news happening every 10 minutes, every hour, news stories going up. Most companies have one new news story, once a week or every few days. So users read it very quickly. So make that screen real estate smaller, and then focus the individual web parts on the page to all be around what that user needs to do their job. So they might be key performance indicators of how the finances are doing, or how the department's doing, or the document library where they store most of their documents for their team. So we tend to sort of try and balance it so it's a user-centered design for SharePoint. Quite often we're asked to configure SharePoint, so SharePoint is your home page or your desktop, and when people log on in the morning, the first thing they see is the SharePoint page come up. And really this is just a web page, so you can have anything on it. But typically we make it so it's the first thing people need. So they've got the corporate news there, they've got all their recent documents there, they've got links to their favourite applications such as Outlook, Word, Excel, or any other line of business applications that they need. And you can have it as a corporate desktop, so people don't need to go anywhere else. But we also encourage people to not lock things down too much, have that there. But say for example the football's on or Wimbledon's on, then maybe have a little feed showing what's going on, because then people will be encouraged to go there because it's a little bit personal as well and a little bit fun. SharePoint or Microsoft Office 365 is best configured when you think about your different users within your organisation, because typically it's not a one-size-fits-all. SharePoint is the one application that can be targeted to your various audiences or groups. So for example, your finance team need different information given to them, different set of functionality than say for example a production team do, or a sales team. They need different things. So actually you can tailor the home pages within SharePoint using a feature called audiences, and actually give them the valid information or configure the web parts so that they'll actually get the key information they need to do their job.